Hey guys, welcome to another episode for today. This is Weekend and I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who is watching this video, alright, or who is supporting this YouTube channel. Thank you so much guys for understanding. Now, today's episode I want to talk about studies abroad opportunity, and precisely I will be talking about Austria. I want to just give you a breakdown on how you are going to go or how you can navigate to study in Austria or apply for Austrian universities. The first thing I will be talking about is how you can apply to their universities in Austria, how you can check the requirements, how you have to navigate with respect to documents. Then when you receive your admissions letter, what are some of the things you have to do with respect to visa application? Point number one, we are going to check universities. Please, international students, if you are just new joining the channel, my name is Milton Fonkwa. For those who already know me, they know I'm called the Anointed Village Boy. Thank you so much for understanding. So if you want to study in Austria, this is what you are going to do. Go to Google, make Google your friend. The first thing you need to do on Google is you go to the universities in Austria. Just write list of universities in Austria, and that is it. You click enter. All the universities on Google will pop up, from the University of Innsbruck, the University of Vienna, University of Graz, Technical University of Vienna, the University of Science and Economics in Vienna, the University of Economics and Business. There are a lot of schools in Austria. When this university open, let's assume that you want to study a program like civil engineering or maybe computer technology or maybe computer science or mathematics. You understand? You still don't know the program you want to study. The first thing you need to do is to go to the programs. First of all, locate where it is written admissions. You go to the bachelor's degree programs, you go to the master's degree programs, and you go to the PhD programs. Point number two, as you are going to the programs, you need to understand that most of these programs are taught in the German language, and they are mostly bachelor's degree programs. It is very important for you to take note about this, because most students, they end up applying for programs in Austria, whereas in Austrian universities, they didn't know the language of instruction. Alright, most schools in Austria, they teach their bachelor's programs in German. There is a video on this channel where I talked about 2 schools and 3 schools, and another video where I talk about list of universities where you can find bachelor's degree programs in English language, and of course master's degree programs, and they are all on this YouTube channel. So take a look at the YouTube channel to know which universities you are going to apply. Now, when you already know or figure a way out to see that there is a possibility for you to study in English language, now is the time for you to start looking at the programs. If you are looking at something like computer technology, you should look at similar courses. Most schools in Austria, especially the very big schools like the University of Graz, the University of Innsbruck, the University of Vienna, only schools like this will usually have programs related to computer science or science fields. Most of the schools in Austria teach just the business and social science sections, all right, like things like economics and business, management and business, accounting and finance, and all the rest. Now, when you identify a program, the next thing you need to do, which is point number 3, is to check program requirement. What do I mean by program requirement? This is something very delicate you need to know so that you don't fall into tricks, all right? Program requirements are the things you need in order to apply for that particular program. For example, you may notice that the program accountancy at the University of Innsbruck, which is taught in German, first of all, they are saying that your certificate must be from German universities or German high schools, or you must have studied the German exam. All right. Requirements means that you check which are the documents you are going to be using to apply for this same program. Most universities in Austria, they will say that, or let me say, if you you will mostly check their websites and see that the first requirement is, if you want to apply for a bachelor's program, you have to have high school documents. Those of us coming from Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia, Uganda, we have something similar, all right, which is the WAEC and WESE. But other students come from African countries like Cameroon, where the GCE ordinary levels is common. So in this case, you are going to be using your GCE ordinary levels to apply for bachelor's degree programs. And again, remember that you need to write at least motivation letters. The motivation letter may be different in terms of system or structure, all right? Schools like the University of Vienna, theirs is different. You just have to write a very long motivation letter. And schools like the University of Vienna, University of Economics and Business, you have to answer 4 different sections of motivation letter, 250 words maximum. I think so, yes. Now, when you finish with a motivation letter, another requirement may be that you submit your reference letters if you are applying for master's degree programs, all right? Then another requirement, if you are going for master's, you need your bachelor's transcript and the bachelor's certificate itself alongside your high school documents. Always scan these documents together and attach them as one PDF file so that when uploading to a portal, you are going to see them going as one file and they will be able to see multiple files joined as one, all right? Now, also pay attention to the fact that most of the schools in Austria, you check the program website, you will realize that when uploading documents as PDF copies, they will always tell you that this document should not be maximum 2 megabytes, all right, or 20 megabytes or 10 megabytes. Every university has its own. Now, when you check all these programs, some schools will equally say that supply us or provide us with a copy of your maybe employment offer or research experience or maybe job experience or things like that. You understand? Now, when you finish with that, when you know the requirements, you now go to the deadlines. Application deadline varies from school to school in Austria. First, there is a university that is going to be starting application on the 6th of September. The video is on my YouTube channel, so you can obviously check that video and watch it. Some other universities will be starting in October, November, towards December for their upcoming spring 2023 semester. All right, so the changes usually occur like that, and most private universities will usually have longer admissions date, or let me say longer extension than private schools. So make sure you apply within the application date. Now, when you have checked the application date, you need to check the tuition fee. Tuition fee in Austrian universities, sometimes maximum you are going to pay is 720 euros per semester. In most public universities in Austria, you are going to be charged 750. There are many schools in Austria, like the University of Vienna and all the rest, that will charge you less than 720. Many schools will charge you 368, while other schools will even maybe like waive the tuition fee, the 368. They will waive it for you if you are coming from a country which is considered as a poor country. In Africa, Austrian universities usually classify African countries like rich countries, poor countries, and third nation countries. You understand? So always check the program website to know which program has which requirement. Now, let me go to the legalization. For your documents to be legalized to study in Austria or to apply for a visa to Austria, you must have passed through the AUSTRIAN Embassy, and they must equally have been to the VFS office. Cameroonians and Ghanaians, please pay attention to the AUSTRIAN Embassy website because that is where the real information is. Now, when you need to legalize, or let me say if you want to apply to a university in Austria, first thing first, check the programs, and while checking the programs, check legalization procedures. Some universities will tell you vividly that legalize your documents before you apply for a position in our university. For example, many schools like the University of Vienna and other schools, Johann Kepler's University, will always tell you this. While other universities will tell you that while you apply, they will even send you an email and say, send hard copies of your original certificate to us, then after that we will send back to you. Make sure you always check the website to know what is happening. When you have finished checking the website to know how their mode of legalization is, if you find out that they are saying that you don't need legalization, because there are people I know who have applied to Austrian universities without legalization, they only get admissions, and at the end of the day, they legalize their documents and they use it. Now, if you realize that you need legalization, I would say that rush as fast as possible and legalize the documents before you start the process. Legalization takes months to come by, all right? A few days ago, someone told me his document has been to the VFS office for over 3 weeks and plus counting. So if you want to apply for a program in Austria, make sure that you have done your legalization. That is my first advice for you. Try to get your legalization done, all right, so that you do not get into problems and all the rest. Now, when you already do the legalization, you should also be doing the legalization with respect to the application deadline, because if you submit the documents when the deadline is already here, you will not get admissions. And I recommend that when you want to apply for schools in Austria, make sure that you legalize all your documents before you apply for the university, because at the end of the day, you may miss the admissions because of legalization. How is the legalization done? First, you take your documents in the country in which it was obtained. If your documents were obtained in Nigeria and you are in Turkey and you want to move to Austria, and your school is requiring legalized documents, you need to send your documents back to Nigeria to be legalized. First, the Ministry of Education. From there, they go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you take them to the VFS Global Office. From the VFS Global Office, they are taken to the Austrian Embassy or whatever, or maybe the VFS Global may be the one in charge. I don't know the process. But remember that while your documents are in this transit, Ministry of Education and Ministry of Foreign Affairs may just be 1 or 2 or 3 days and you are done. But you need to take them to VFS and it's going to take a lot of time. Remember, VFS have to verify if the documents are authentic, and in this way they have to send their lawyer to all the areas, or maybe they have a means they usually contact their people. I do not know. So you need to pay attention to these petty details so that you do not fall into the trap. Now, when you are done with that, remember there will be a lot of programs in each university. Make sure before you apply to any school in Austria, the university or the program should tie with what you did for your bachelor's level. You understand? The program should tie. For example, if you did economics, try to apply for masters in economics. If you did chemistry, do not go and be applying for something like philosophy. No one will take you for Austria. Now, like I said, no one will take you, and that is a fact. All right? You need to understand all of these things so that you do not get into problems. Now, when you have succeeded in applying, all right, because like I said, you must legalize the documents in the country where it was obtained. It's not possible to legalize. For those of you schooling in outside Cyprus, when you finish from school, legalize your documents at the level of the Ministry of Education or Foreign Affairs before you start moving. You understand? Now, when you get the admission letter, you now need to apply for visa. But before I can even go to the visa section, let me also draw your attention to the fact that most of these schools, some will tell you that send hard copies to us to verify. There are a list of schools that do that. All right. Now, when you send the documents to them, before you even send, make sure that you have copies of the documents with you. And again, make sure you give the right address. In case anything happens, they will be able to trace your document. Now, it's time to apply for the visa. What are the documents that you need? You need one, very important, proof of funds. Money must be in your bank account. Money must be in your bank account and not somebody else's account. That is point number one, your bank account only. And the money I usually recommend is 12,000 euros per year to put you in a safer position. Because Austria and Germany, they work together. And if Germany is demanding 11,000 euros now, it means Austria is also going to be demanding something equivalent. But don't make your money to be below 9,000 euros. No. It doesn't work that way. Don't do it. Now, when you are to apply again, remember you already have other documents like your passport. You already have it. Maybe your passport size photograph, you have it as well. Remember, you need now that insurance to attach to it. All right. There is an insurance, of course, you are going to pay. How much is the insurance? You go to any insurance company called AXA or Swisscare in your home country. You are going to get an insurance policy and tell them the duration of your program. They will then tell you how much you need to pay. If you are buying for 1 year, then that is excellent. But if you are buying probably maybe half a dozen or 1/4 dozen, that is where you need more to just get them to you at once. I hope you get the point. Now, I have talked about proof of funds. I have talked about insurance. I have talked about, I can't remember, but you also need documents to go to school. Don't let your child to go and be scrambled in a foreign country where you have the money. No. Now, when you gather all the documents, you have to now, if in case you are not applying for legalization or something, you now need to go to the VFS Global website or the Austrian Embassy website, I beg your pardon, to do the appointment, to book an appointment. Before I go to the appointment section, remember that the money for legalization is not a joke, all right? I think it should be 75,000 plus for Cameroonians or Nigerians, verifying in your own local currency, but it is worth it. At the end of the day, if you spend the money, you are very lucky. Now, when you are applying, you have to book an appointment, and for the day for the interview, or day at the interview, you have to go yourself, not me, all right? For example, if you have an interview in Lagos and you intend to travel somewhere and you are like sending your sister to go and attend, no, darling, it doesn't work that way. You cannot send somebody to go and represent you for visa at the embassy. Probably they may need your fingerprints and stuff like that, and understand that it may not be easy for you. Just go yourself, and that is the procedure. You understand? So these are some of the things I want you to know before you apply to study in Austria. Now, we are done with until you get your visa. Now, we are done with that. Let's move back to the issue of the tuition fee or the money in the bank account. Some people equally say that Milton, should I leave the money? Can I leave the money in the bank account when I applied for my student visa? Or because I just want to remove, If you get a residence permit for at least 1 year, remove the money, because that is something you are going to renew again only after 1 year. But it's like the embassy would be somehow fishing in terms of what they are giving you. You understand? So these are some of the things that you need to know. They will need to really like structure to know which visa you need. But again, you need to tell them which type you need. Now, in terms of job opportunities, of course, jobs are there, and of course, you can work 20 hours a week, and do not go against the law, because this is a very law-binding company, or let me say country. All right, you need to pay attention to this. Now, when you finish with that, let's assume that you already finished applying for the visa and you are moving to Austria. You can withdraw the money in case you get your visa for 1 year automatic, because it is called a residence permit. But if it's given to you for maybe less than 1 year, I would suggest you leave the money in the account, because if you withdraw and upon entry into Austria and they ask you where is the money, what are you going to say, and stuff like that, you understand, because it is not going to be easy. Now, when it comes to, like I said, there is a fee for legalization. You are going to work, all right? Again, before you move, you need accommodation, all right? You need to book an accommodation, and you have to book only online. The university is going to guide you on that, on how to go about it and everything. Then, while in Vienna, remember Vienna is the capital city of Austria, and Austria is found in the European Union. You can easily move to Sweden, move to Germany, move to other places, move to Denmark, and all the rest, all right? So that is the good news I wanted you to pay attention to. When applying to schools in Austria, or let's assume that you want to apply for a university in Austria and you realize that your grades or your CGPA is not enough, all right? How are you going to know that your grades or your CGPA is not enough? For example, if you want to apply for a master's degree in Austria and you notice that the requirement says that you should have at least a bachelor's degree before you can apply for the program in Austria, and you realize that you have just an HND, what you should do is, I would suggest, is a suggestion I'm giving you and something very tactical. What I would say is contact the program coordinator or the faculty official or anybody you find his or her email on that particular website. All right, don't just give up, because normally HNDs are not allowed in Austria. But when you contact them, you might show them that you are very interested, all right, and they might also consider you in case they didn't want to accept an HND. It depends on how you negotiate. It's like this university stuff or studies abroad stuff is negotiation, all right. That's how it works in the United States or in graduate schools. You have to negotiate, all right. It's just that a lot of international students, they don't know that they can do this. Now, sometimes when you want to apply for schools again, there is something called frequently asked questions. Frequently asked questions. Always make sure you go to that frequently asked questions, which is the FAQ, all right? Frequently, which is F, asked, which is A, questions, which is Q, it is called FAQ. You go there and you read all those important things, all right? Because sometimes most of the things that you may be having doubt about, they may be linked in the frequently asked questions. So always locate that frequently asked questions and that section for frequently asked questions, and you read the information which is there, all right? It is going to help you a lot. That is something I said I should explain to you guys. And if you find this video helpful, please do not forget, subscribe to our channel and support the movement. In my next video, you are going to be watching studies in Switzerland, how you can study in Switzerland. Is it possible to work in Switzerland? For those who don't know, it is very, very possible to work in Switzerland. I hope you understand. So that is how it is going to look like. Henceforth on this YouTube channel, you are going to find content, back-to-back content, all right? Thank you so much. Until we meet again in another one, I'm taking my leave. Peace.